Welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. I'm your host, Martel Roland. Now, if you missed yesterday's wine cast, you can find the wine cast. It is available right now to watch over on YouTube. You look up my former YouTube channel, Martel Roland Show. It is available right there. So I want to thank you all for coming out and listening to this episode of the podcast. I am currently live right now on Facebook. It looks like Kami just joined in with us. So good, I think it's afternoon. Good afternoon to Kami over in Johannesburg. So it is a lot that's been on my mind far as actually, first of all, first thing I want to talk about. So a lot of people been asking me what is going on with me and when would I would be returning. So for those of you who are, it's so weird because I'm using this new thing now. It, so for those of you concerned, I will have to go see a orthopedic surgeon, and then that person will decide when I will be able to return to normal. When I'll be able to return to normal, and so yeah, that's when I basically be able to return to work. So that was one of the things that was going on. So I went through 3 treatments already. So hopefully on the 28th when I go, things will be totally different. So yeah, that's that. So what's it's been a lot going on over the last couple of whatevers, and a lot of people are very upset about what happened in the Capitol in Washington D.C. And I just want to say one of the reasons why a lot of people of color is upset about what's going on in Washington D.C. because we look at that as if that was, I shouldn't say color really, I should say minorities. I wouldn't even say really in minorities, because even if you're from like another foreign country like Saudi Arabia or Israel or somewhere over there, and you know people those of that background was to go to the Capitol and do whatever they called the Proud Boys did, it would have been a totally different story. And now, a lot of people keep on saying, well, the Black Lives Matter people, they burned down billions, they cost billions of dollars in damage over the riots that happened in 2020, which possibly can be correct. But I had saw a trailer today, right before I was getting ready to record the podcast, and there was this trailer with what is his name? Spike Lee's putting out. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's basically his son had got shot for having a cell phone. His son got shot and killed by the police. And the actor's son who got killed, he had said that, for the longest of time, well, I can't really remember how it went, but for the longest of time, really agreed that, like, when stuff happening to minorities or, people of foreign descent, they want us to protest quietly. And I feel like when the whole Trayvon Martin thing was going on and others very quietly and doing what it is that we do, when we were doing that, nothing, it was like we wasn't really heard. It was like, oh, let's just let them chant to their hearts out, and then eventually they would get tired and that'd be that, and nothing really came out of that. So when George Floyd got killed, and the riots started happening, not just in Minnesota, when riots and all these other things started happening across the across the country, that got a lot of people's attention when it came to really talking about racism in America today. And like I said on a previous podcast, I've had a doctor. Well, I shouldn't say doctor. I believe she's a oh, I forgot the name of it. It's like they write up under a doctor. They are not yet a doctor, but they're a doctor. Uh, but they can write prescriptions, but it's still like a nurse. But anyways, eventually y'all get what I'm talking about. But she came up to me and said that I didn't know what people of color or black people go through, like what on an everyday basis, like with getting pulled over by the police and how they are mistreated and so on. Like they did not know. She's like, I was very blind and clueless to what was going on. And she said, I've been doing some research and I've been looking into it. And she just want to say, and she actually apologized for what's been going on. And it's crazy because it took for the riots and stuff getting burned down and all these other things to really get people to talk about it. And now they think it's okay to go storm the Capitol. These white supremacists to go storm the Capitol and have a president, a sitting president, approve of what they did and organize and told them what to go do. And yet, when they were first doing it, they wasn't considered terrorists. They was considered peaceful protesters. And now that it's so much scrutiny under it, and they basically had a fool made of themselves. Now they want to consider them people who stormed the Capitol terrorists. And like I said, let there have been anyone else who had went and stormed that Capitol, the body count will be a lot higher than what it is now. Hey Hattie, how you doing? I miss Quentin when he popped in. Um, so yeah, like I said, the body count would have been a lot more higher and bigger than what it is, and it's sad to say that, but because these were white supremacists, they got away with it. And then on top of that, because I'm happy that I waited to push this episode of the podcast out. Um, so then on top of that, there was this young guy I was reading on, I believe on the World News had reported. I can't really remember his name. Wish I would have remembered his name, wrote it down. But he had said three congressmen had actually helped them and helped them plan to storm, the Capitol Hill. So, like I said, not only is the we got the white supremacists in on this, but then you got actual congressmen who basically probably are white supremacists themselves, help orchestrate and plan for these people to come in and storm the Capitol, like they said, and like a lot of people say, overthrow our democracy. And it's crazy because everybody was like, back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton won, and we didn't go, and I feel like, well, I shouldn't say we, the Democrats didn't go through all these channels of suing and trying to overturn the election, saying it was voter fraud, even though there was Russian collusion involved with the elections, and we had all this whole big Russian thing going on around the 2016 election, and yet none of that was really challenged. Democrats took their L and kept going, and they started that day and pushed to make sure that when it's time for another president or another election come up for president, that we work hard to get our party nominated and into the White House. And that's exactly what they did. They put a plan together and they worked hard and they hit the streets and they did the necessary work that they needed to do to get a new president into office, and one who was possibly actually is very competent at being the president of the United States. So, like I said, like the Democrats, 2016, they took the L. Now here, fast forward, 4 years later, and you have all these Republicans like, oh, it's voter fraud. This happened, that happened. The election wasn't fair. A lot of people voted who shouldn't have voted. The whole mail-in voting thing was a scam, which back in 2016, a lot of President Trump's votes came from mail-in voting. So if now 4 years later, it's because it didn't work in his favor. Now it's a scam. And then on top of that, he, even as a sitting president, tried to create voter suppression. And what I mean by voter suppression is like, he knew during the pandemic that a lot of people were going to be voting by mail. And a lot of Biden supporters who Biden told his supporters to vote by mail, they voted by mail. And what the President Trump tried to do, he tried to basically slow down the mail service, and he cut funding to the mail service so that the votes could not be counted. But yet, everybody keep on saying that this man is competent, that he's a fair man, and he is not a fair man. He is not for everybody. He is only for the rich. He is only willing to help hit only him. And now it's 4 years later, and he found now he's starting to look at like, well, you know what? In the last 4 years, I think it's finally sunk into him that I really fucked up at this point, and there's no turning back. He done lost a lot of his businesses, a lot of like the city of New York canceled all his contracts, city contracts that they had with Trump businesses. So it's a wrap for Donald Trump at this point. And then a lot of people are very excited for the impeachment, and I'm like, well, the impeachment really doesn't matter. Like, they can impeach Donald Trump all they want to, and to me, I don't care about really about the impeachment. It's just the fact that I really care more about whether the charges will stick and they will actually convict him. I don't care about the impeachment. They can impeach him all he wants to. They impeached him last time, and he still was able to serve out his whole full term. That really doesn't matter to me. What I want is for him to be convicted and the charges to stick, because what that means is that in 4 years, when we are voting for president, when we are voting for president, we are he will be allowed to run again if he's not convicted, and that's one thing I do not want. We do not want somebody who's very pretty much not competent running for president again. Oh hey, oh yeah, how you doing? Um, yeah, so we don't want anybody in another 4 years who's very bad, pretty much not competent to run for president, running for president again. That's just a big no-no for me. And if you agree, you can agree with me if you want to. If you don't, you don't. I really don't care at this point, because, like I said, I always said that I can accept a Republican president, but one thing I cannot accept is just Donald Trump. Like I said, I can accept anybody who, I don't care who wins the election, as long as they got some type of political background and some type of understanding and know how government works and knows the law and really knows the law instead of pretending like they know the law. Then I am so much fine. I'm fine with that person being in office. Now, when it comes to Donald Trump, he has no political experience whatsoever. So why would I want somebody running a country who has no political experience? And now we have seen what has happened when somebody with no political experience run a country. Although he did, he did keep the stock market up pretty good, and somebody's been winning on the stock market. So other than that, though, well, yeah. But anyways, that has been my whole spiel about what's been going on with Donald Trump. Like I said, make sure you tune in to the actually go like and follow the Martel Rolling page on Facebook. I try to do like daily video blogs on there just to keep an update with you guys, let you guys know what's going on with me. If I'm going to be doing any recordings, if I'm going to do a live recording like I'm doing now. Hold on, I'm getting this thing on Facebook. Hopefully, good thing I saw that. Oh, Darrell, who's a very bad producer on the podcast, said that he did the stock market for himself, not for America. Hey, with the stock market worked out for me too. I'm just saying, because my portfolio is doing almost kind of good right now, my stock portfolio. So I'm kind of appreciative of that. It took me a while to figure out the stock market, and just anybody who want to invest in the stock market, like I started with this app called Stash, where you can invest as little as $1 into a company just to get yourself started, figure out how things work. And it's like, once I figured out how things work, I was like, yeah, I got this. And now I've been investing more and more, and I only have about $300 right now invested into the stock market, and right now I have about a 50 some dollar profit. So it works out. It's a win-win so far. It's working out for me. I enjoy doing it. Uh, oh yeah, I had to bust you out like that. I am not shading you. Why? He always accusing me of shading him. I did not bust you out whatsoever. I was just stating something very obvious. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast. Make sure y'all follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at SCDD Podcast. And make sure you follow me on Facebook, which is Martel Roland, the actual Martel Roland Facebook page. And yeah, so thank you all for listening, and see y'all next week.